What's going on, guys, and welcome back. It's been a while, but we're trying to do a lot of positive things for the channel, so bear with us while we make our improvements, and we will let you know as we go. You just saw it in the beginning there. We are working hard on DCS 5 January 8th and 9th. You cannot win this much money anywhere else. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys, and it is the biggest prize up for grabs because we take zero profit from this event. We just do it for the players, and we want the highest payout possible, and that's what we accomplished. There is no other event online that you can win this much money. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Come hang out on stream or play and get featured on stream if you're doing well. Myself and Yashan McNabb are going to be hosting streams with special guests. Brock will be joining me, and he will also have Golden Nova, Yu-Gi-Oh, TCG, Tally, and Bear joining him throughout the stream. It's going to be a ton of fun, guys, but without further ado, top 10 decks going into 2022. What are the 10 best decks? Number 10. Eldritch. I'm going to leave Eldritch here at number 10. I've seen them popping up and doing decently well in certain tournaments like locals or, 40, 50 person tournaments, and the deck can definitely be really grindy, and I'm not huge on these back row decks. I think not needing the extra deck could be really big, and obviously, if you get Protoss, okay, that's going to hurt a little bit, but they're not super reliant on summoning Eldritch turn 1 anyway, but they play around the Scythe Lock and things like that too, so Eldritch does have a lot of good things going for it. Number 9, one of our new strategies. I think there's two big things holding this deck back. One, there's not many people playing it, and two, if too many people play it, then we play counters for it, and then we stop it rather easily. Floowandereeze, we have all the generic things, Nibiru, Imperm, Ash, like things like these are going to be played. Forbidden Droplet's going to be played. These types of cards which do hinder the deck, and I think that is something that holds it back a bit. But Floowandereeze, can be very oppressive, and if you don't open your way to stop the deck or to out its initial board, you're not going to win that game. Getting like the pseudo floodgate from Empin, where your special summon monsters in attack position can't use their effects, getting the Wind Barrier lock, getting Rise of the Mega Monarch. Like, the deck can do a lot of really good things, so I have them as the 9th best deck of this coming year. This could really change too. We have a ban list on the horizon and a new set. I thought about waiting for this, but with Grand Creators getting pushed back into almost February, I really didn't want to have to wait until February to do best decks going into 2022, because guess what? They're not going to be around until later in the year. And this is also my top 10 heading into YCS, like Pasadena. I think that's the only one before the ban list, at least. And again, DCS 5, great place to test your builds for the YCS. And then, okay, enough rambling and getting off topic. Sorry, I do that a lot if you're new here, and if you're also new here, consider hitting that subscribe button, because we have a lot of other high-end content coming. I'm going to break it into a few parts. We tried doing How to Beat. We tried doing 10-minute takedowns where we take down the top decks in 10 minutes. Neither one really seemed to go over super well. So we're just going to group decks together, do like 2 or 3 at a time, and we're just going to beat the meta one video at a time, and we'll go as in depth as we need to. If the video starts to go too long, we'll only do 2 decks that video. If it's going pretty quick, we'll do 3, 4, whatever it will be. So stay tuned for that. All the decks on this list will be in those first couple videos. Number 8, a deck that just will not go away, and a lot of people may disagree with me on this one. Dragon Link is going to come in at number 8. I still see them topping events. I still see them doing well, and there is so much generic Dragon support that Dragon Link isn't going anywhere. anytime soon. Dragon Link, 8th best deck of the format. The biggest thing holding Dragon Link back right now, it's not the best combo deck. Combo players typically will play the best combo deck or the second best, and Dragon Link is neither. So that is why it doesn't, that's the biggest thing holding it back. It's not one of the top 2 combo decks, so people just aren't playing it. Number 7, Tri-Brigade. This is the more standard pure Tri-Brigade, where we're going into your Omen, your Revolt, the, like I said, standard or even Rescue Cat Tri-Brigade. Anything you throw in there like that. So Tri-Brigade, I think it's still a very, very strong deck. It's very good. It's just not the best way to play Tri-Brigade, and you all know it already. Like Bird Up, obviously it's higher up on the list, but pure Tri-Brigade, Rescue Cat Tri-Brigade, I have as my 7th best deck of the format. Number 6, I was really undecided on 5 and 6, which one I wanted to put where. I'm going to put Drytron. Drytron is my number 6 deck, being the best deck of the second half of the top 10, just outside the top 5. Drytron coming in at number 6. Drytron does what Drytron does. It really hasn't changed since it came out. What it does, it's just been knocked down a peg, with a couple lists, with Eva going to 1, Benton at 1, things like that. I think this is actually a really strong deck that is going to avoid the next ban list, and we could see it potentially become one of those top 5 decks after the ban list. Brave tokens, again, will change that a little bit, and it's going to be interesting to see how the TCG adapts it. I'm excited but nervous at the same time, but for now, Drytron as my 6th best deck. What was the deck that I was considering with Drytron? 5 and 6. I was so undecided between these two, and I just made a decision for the video. PK, not Prank Kids either. They're Prank Kids and Virtual Worlds, probably, in that just barely missed the cut, honorable mention. Both decks can do a lot still, and PK, or Prank Kids, is going to get a pretty good boost with the Brave engine. I also think ABC is a deck people aren't talking about. It's going to be a strong rogue deck when the Brave tokens come out, because it's another deck that isn't reliant on that normal summon, so it's something that they can do. But yeah, so Phantom Knights, this deck is just, there's so many decks that can play just like all gas. Like there's so many extenders, just extender. It doesn't matter, throw hand traps at them, and it seems like they just play through everything. A really, really skilled pilot on this deck, win any event out there. Obviously, you can say that about any of the top 5 decks, but I think PK just has so much going in that, like, just all the extenders, the way it can push through break boards, set up boards, it can just do so much. The grind game is insane, the recovery is insane, they all effects in the graveyard darn near, so that's just even more that it can do as you disrupt them. They can still end on stuff after you're trying to stop them. They pair up with, like, you can do it with Orcust if you would like. Hint, hint, we got a video on the channel. Or you could keep it the more standard, pure, if you will, package. You could throw in Destroyer and Phoenix Enforcer. You could throw in Artifact Scythe. Like, the deck is really strong. You can still play Dragoon if you want to play Dragoon. The deck is very, very strong, and do not sleep on PK. Number 4, Ray is Bay. That's what I hear, right? Ray is Bay. If you're from my locals, well, this deck runs rampant. It wins all the time. Sky Striker DPE. You can play so many hand traps, so many disruption cards. You can, evenly match Forbidden Droplet, and that really hurts. We had our OTS championship event with the trophies and all, the first, second, third, and the one player there, and he the final 2 rounds, I played him the final round, and against me and the round prior, he ended up winning the match because he actually opened evenly plus Droplet both of those games, and it's just like, ooh, like 2 rounds in a row you opened it when you needed to open it. It's pretty oppressive, guys. Evenly matched, negate, no, Droplet, send it, still only keep 1 card, and then I'm just going to generate F ton of advantage, and that's how it goes. But Sky Striker DPE, we all know how Sky Striker works. Sky Striker's been around for a long time now. There's really not a whole lot to talk about as far as Sky Striker goes. The deck's just really strong, really, and I wouldn't say recursive, but it can generate a lot of advantage very, very quickly once the spells start building up in the graveyard, and you just engage Kagari, engage, and just keep going and going and going. And DPE really feeds into the strategy of it, especially because Celestial, draw 2, engage, search, draw, Kagari, engage, search, draw. Like, you just got, what, 6 cards that way? Like, it's really, really good. Bringing us to number 3. We're into the top 3. What is the third best deck? I was, again, a little like, what order do I put these in? I'm actually going to throw Sword Soul at number 3. Again, all 3 of these decks are so close. It's like PK and Drytron. Like, which one do you really put? Everyone, let me know down below, what order do you put these 3 decks in? I'm putting Sword Soul at number 3. People main deck Protoss or they side deck Protoss, but the card is so oppressive. And on top of that, making like a Fleur de Lis, or not Fleur de Lis, is that it? Baroness de Fleur. Sorry, wow. Fleur. But Baroness de Fleur, the Cheek Sow, Blackout to pop 2, like just 2 monster negate, Omni negate, pop 2, really strong, and they play enough hand traps that they usually will open 1, 2, or like a droplet, something of that sort. So you can usually count on like a pop 2 plus 3 disruptions, and that's really, really good. The deck can go second too. Like, I've seen people say, oh, that can't go second. It kind of can. Like, I mean, it's got a few choke points, and if you play it out smart, you can stop it if you go first, if you have 2 or 3 disruption. But the deck can still go second. Any deck can get stopped by 2 or 3 well-timed disruptions unless they just open, everything. Number 2, I'm going to go with Bird up here. So Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk, between being able to just negate, summon, and, detach, negate, Draco Future can be problematic for certain decks and just like straight up not be able to out it, not being able to be destroyed and just negate and take your monster. That's really good. Zeus follow-up's crazy. The deck just has, Apex Avian obviously too is another form of negate. And again, the deck can play these just generic disruptions like hand traps, forbidden droplets, things like that. And the deck just not only can OTK out of nowhere, it just builds so much advantage, and it's almost Nibiru proof. Like, I've seen people say, oh, Nibiru's really good against it, but like, I've just seen so many times where it's like you Nibiru him and it just does not matter. Not the biggest fan of Nibiru on the way. Updated hand trap ranking list tier video thing coming pretty soon. We're also going to cover like going second cards, staple cards, regular trap cards, and a bunch of other things like that too. But so Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk coming in as our second best deck. I'm sure you guessed it already. We left it out so you know what it is. Number 1, I don't know if anyone will agree with me though, or not, maybe. Invoke Dogmatica DPE. The deck is not only insanely consistent, the deck, it seems like they open everything they need to when they need to. So that's just like, obviously you have your Meltdowns, you have Terraforming, you have Alistair for starters that way, you have your Nadir Servant, you have Nicclesia that way. Usually playing the small Winda package too, but I'm not going to call it Shadal because you're playing Winda and Schism. Like, that's not Shadal, it's just a small package. And then this like Fusion Destiny too, that's 3 more starters. So you're running what? 5, 3, and 7, so you're running like 15 starters, and more often than not you'll open at least 2 of them, so you're going to be running 2 of the 3 engines very, very consistently, and the deck's just so strong. And what do you play outside of those starters? Hand traps. You can play 12 hand traps easy in the deck, or going second cards, or format dependent cards, draw cards. Like, the deck's so consistent, the deck's so good. Just, it was really, really hard not to put it at number 1, because I think this deck, not only can it put up the boards that Tri-Brigade Lyrilusk can, and Sword Soul can, and PK and Drytron and all these other decks, it can play all the cards to stop those decks too. It not only puts up the boards and competes with them like engine for engine, it can also have the room to play the cards to stop those decks, and that's where some of them decks run out of the room. They don't have the space to combat everything. Like Invoke Dogmatica, it feels like they have space to just combat everything, and that's why they're my number 1 deck. But I don't think they're going to win the DCS. Are they going to win, the YCS? Maybe. I'm going to say no, however. I'm going to give my prediction right here. Sky Striker. Skystrike is going to win the DCS, and Phantom Knight is going to win YCS Pasadena. I said that in the beginning of December, I believe. We put a poll up in Dragon Rider Games. Link down below. Come join the best online tournaments, cash tournaments. Be featured on DB Grinder. Hopefully play better than this guy. Yeah, finally got featured on there, and I think it's probably the worst game I've played in my competitive career. I was so disappointed when I watched the replay. I was like, there's like 5 or 6 different ways I could have played that game 2-out and won, and I was like, I found like the only way to lose. Like I used every card at the wrong time, and I was like, okay, I'm just watched it, was done with it, and I was like, move on, throw it away. There's nothing to take away from it. It was just a really bad game. It happens, and like I said, I literally found like the only way to lose that game, and not proud of it, but we've all been, at a low point, not necessarily there, but just got to move on, move forward, and we're going to do that. We'll be back on the channel again because we're going to make it to another final, and this time we're going to do a little better. So anyway, guys, it's been fun. Until next time, take care. Remember, Dragon Rider Games down below, best tournaments online, cash, cards, prizing, DCS 5, only place you can win that much money, over $2,000 on the line. Come check it out, guys. Links down below. Take care, and until next time, see ya.